This is your one and only Raptor Spiritus, and we are going to go over the Inside Star Citizen that just dropped today. It had some awesome sneak peeks in it, and I'm super excited about it. Hopefully, Invictus this year is going to be way better than it was last year. So I'm just gonna kind of go through a few things, and as it goes through the video, and just comment on some stuff and all that good jazz. So cool. All right, so here we go.
I like making missions because it's an intellectual challenge and it's a creative challenge. I like playing through the content and seeing things through a player's eyes and trying to craft an experience.
Do you think players like missions?
I hope players like missions. In Alpha 411, we are going to be dropping about 60 new missions, and it's going to be our biggest drop since 4.0.
Now, this right here, go back. So, let's do...
Going to be our biggest drop since...
That right there. So, when I first saw this video, this is the cockpit of the new Guardian MX, which is the missile variant of it. So as you saw in the video, you saw, unlike the regular Guardians, it actually has 4 guns, but they look to be about a size 3. I'm not quite sure. Again, we'll find out, but I don't think they're size 4s. I'm pretty sure they're size 3s. So for the MX, it has 4 size 3 guns on it, which is way better than whenever, if you remember back, Mirai came out with the Fury MX. And the Fury MX had no guns. It was literally just missiles. It was a cool concept, and I liked how it was a little bit different, how the armor came up in the front of the cockpit. But the reality is that once the missiles were gone, because I had this for myself, once the missiles were all gone, you had no guns whatsoever to defend yourself. Plus, on top of that, those ships didn't have quantum drives, so you can't jump away and save yourself. So I was super excited to see this video, because that was my biggest thing I was afraid of, was that they were going to make this Mirai Guardian with no guns, and I thought that would have been terrible, as again the Fury MX had that issue where it had no guns, just missiles. So I'm very pleased that they put 4 size 3 guns on each of the little pylons there, and I'm pretty sure we'll get to see, my guess is that for the Fury MX, that the missiles are going to pop out from, each of these, little pylons from some corner of it, whether it be on the outside corner or the inside corner, but the missiles will come out, and then you'll have a barrage of missiles and things like that. So that was the first thing I noticed going through this video, that they showed the cockpit for the MX. And then, of course, my older brother's here. This his channel is... I forget which channel is, Ricky. You want to tell me?
RCJ, V as in Victor, F as in Fox, X.
So if
on YouTube.
So if you get a chance to go check out the stuff, he does a lot of reviews for like video movie trailers and other type of trailers. He covers Star Citizen stuff as well. So just go out there, give him a shout, check out his stuff. It's really cool. But he's here with me today, and
it'll be a lot nicer whenever I get a new one.
Yeah, right. Sorry, that was my kid. Trying to film this with a 5-year-old around, so it's a little hard. So bear with me. So,
hey, young bro, quick question. So, as we see this, like you said, the fear of not having any guns has been alleviated. To keep with the Mirai aesthetic, do you think maybe they'll retcon the Fury MX at all to add a gun to it?
What do you mean?
I mean. No,
I mean, you're talking about the Mirai Fury? No.
The Fury, yeah. Do you think maybe they'll retcon it?
The Fury MX it's done. They're not going to mess. I would be surprised if they actually did something like that and added guns to the Mirai Fury MX. I'd be surprised, but I don't think they're going to do that.
The reason I'm asking is because, as we know, one of the selling points of the TAC will be, a hangar for like a Fury, is what they've always advertised. So why not make your Furies a little more spicy? You know.
Well, but that's the thing with the regular Fury. It has 4 size 3s on it as well. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to say it's size 3s on it. I have to look at it. Actually, I think I have it over here. Gotta take a look, gander at it. So for Mirai, if I can read, reading is fundamental. So the Fury, there we go. The regular Fury, which they were cool ships, by the way, when they first came out. I loved them. I just wanted to do something different. I got the missile variant, and yeah, it was definitely it was cool, but it didn't have any guns. So once I dispensed everything, I couldn't jump away. I couldn't do anything, so I was kind of screwed. So yeah, it has 4 size 2s on it. So that's interesting. But yeah, if the regular Fury has 4 size 2s, the MX had, straight up missiles, and that's it. So, but yeah, it was cool. But I'm glad they put guns on it. Nevertheless, that was the most important part. It was guns, because shooting missiles is great, but when you dispense all your missiles, what do you have then? And to do that to
you ain't got some support, you're screwed.
Exactly, and to do that to the Guardian, I think would have been kind of messed up anyways. To not have it have guns on it at all, like that would, I guess, take away from the aesthetic of it being a heavy fighter. And if it's just missiles, I don't think it would sell. Honestly, that's just my opinion. Unless like you had, I don't know, like 24 size 5s and some other ridiculous number like that. Maybe I could see, him having no guns at all, because you basically have size 5s are basically like small torpedoes. So that would be different, but I doubt that. So, all right, so let's continue.
4.0. Let's start with our big headliner, Hunt the Polaris. Hunt the Polaris is a mission where the Frontier fighters have stolen a UEE Polaris, which was bound for Invictus, and they're trying to escape with it and get it back to
them. You do defend our ship.
When you encounter the Polaris, it won't be alone. It will have some Frontier fighter friends as backup.
Let's get the hell out of here.
What's really cool about this mission is you don't even have to do it alone.
The Polaris quantumed away.
The UE have sent their own guys as well.
Yeah, I would think taking out a Polaris alone would be a problem.
Keep you alive too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so you're definitely going to need people to help you. You're going to do it as
I think it'll be a really good test of just how strong your friends are. And yourself too.
Yeah, I just found it funny. He was like, "Oh, you don't even have to take it on alone."
Next, there are 12 different patrol contracts split between headhunters and Foxwell.
The
Foxwell being the faction that gives you the legal version of these missions, and headhunters will give you the illegal version.
Foxwell Enforcement, they've hit hard times, so their background checks and whoever they hire is a bit more loosey-goosey.
Headhunters.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
I actually thought it was really cool that they finally, because one of the previous Inside Star Citizens, they had Jared in the little green suit thing, like he was going to make a character. So it's really funny they actually put him in there. Like, that's crazy. So I think that's pretty cool.
Now if he could only get his jalopy.
I know, right? But I think it's cool in here. But it's funny. He's in this fighter with no helmet on. I mean, bruh, man, I don't know if them glasses gonna help you if you like decompression in that cockpit. So I don't know.
It's all about the face game. He got to show the face game, bro.
Look, man, it's cool. You know what? I actually just thought about something. I think it would be really cool. I don't know if someone's done this or not, or they're going to, where you can use your camera to actually look at your face, and then when you do the character customization, that it will create a character that's like your face. Like it'll they have the eye trackers or whatever that actually keep track of your face and your movements. But to take it a step further and have to where it's actually kind of scans your facial features, and then basically builds a face for you on the game. That would be freaking cool.
I mean, I know other games have touted that type of thing, so maybe.
Oh, I've never heard of that. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Like if you do the setup and then you have the camera look at you.
To see if I can find what it is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hunters are now operating for the first time in Stanton. The headhunters want you to patrol an area of space that they consider their own and make sure their interests are allowed to operate safely.
The patrol missions in 411 are a little different than our standard missions. We wanted a mission that was not linear. You will go to a point throughout space, and it will randomly generate between our pool of current objectives.
Right there. That's the Asgard. That is the what you call it? The Anvil Asgard.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying. So if you look at the Asgard, it has the engines up here, and let me just pull up this because I did this Anvil. I'm going to show it here on my other screen. I'm pretty sure I could probably type it in faster, but we're just going to skip past that. So okay, here we go. So I'm about to put this up on the screen so you can see, because I like how it's a little different. But so let's do this. Boop. And don't mind the talking in the background. That's my kid. So
well, I can't hear him, so I doubt everybody else can.
Yeah. I'm trying to get this to switch over to screen. There it is. Okay. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out this whole split screen thing. So right now,
remember, if you upload this to YouTube, you can always make a cut. So
right. So if we look at the Anvil Valkyrie, you can see that the motor is in the but the thruster. You have the two up front, which the Asgard has, but you see this wing right here on the Asgard. The main thrusters from the back. This right here, these thrusters are actually on the wings, and I actually like that a lot better. I think that looks a lot better in my personal opinion. So I'm super stoked to see what this is going to be like, especially with the interior, because it's supposed to be a heavy transport. So I'm curious what that really means. But so, and just so you know, if you're looking at it, you know what this looks like. It just hit me. So I was looking at the ship, and I'm like, what looks familiar about the ship? You know what it is? So Ricky, if you you see what the thrusters are here, right? And right here.
Yeah.
So if you, all right. So from this little perspective right here, from the rear, if you were to kind of slice this little gray portion off where the back cargo bay is, it looks like the alien dropship. Yeah. When all the arms are out.
Well, yeah, no, I'd say even the Valkyrie resembled it a little bit. So that's one thing that when I saw the Asgard, I was like, yeah, that looks a lot like the dropship.
But this really looks like it with this, because it looks like whenever the dropship from the movie Aliens was in
the movie missile wing things. Yeah.
Yes, came out and it looked the same shape. So that's pretty neat that it's actually like that. I actually like that, and really, I'm actually considering getting this vehicle. I've never been a fan of the Valkyrie 2 per se, but I'm really considering buying this vehicle because I love the way it looks. It's a heavy transport, so I mean, if I can transport tanks or something, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So, so we're gonna continue. I mean, do you have anything you want to add on it? I mean, do you like it?
Oh, no. I mean, like I said, cool looking ship. So.
Yeah, it's super dope. I was like, okay, I see where they're at. So I mean, I'm personally looking forward to seeing more specifics about it. But I know one of the later on in the video, or you'll see where it's shooting a lot of guns. Looks like it from the pilots used, and I think I saw 3 lasers shooting out. I mean, not 3. I'm sorry, 6. So there was like 4 from the top. It looked like above the cockpit, and then 2 from the bottom. So I think the pilot has 6 guns that it has at its command.
That'd be nice.
Oh yeah. You know, so then people can stop like ragging on the Corsair. I am a Corsair owner, and Corsair's been getting the shit into it. It's like, oh, it's OP, blah blah blah. I'm like, look, man, you know that's what Drake is. Drake basically throws. You know, you have a stick fight. Drake throws boulders at a stick fight. Like that's what it does. It's so crude, and it's nothing. They're not luxurious. They are basic. It's like a frame with a pillow and a bunch of gun strapped to it, and that's it. That's Drake in a nutshell. It's no sweet, comfy, like pretty. No, it ain't that. You know, wires exposed. It's literally a mallet. You know, when you probably need a drill or something fancy. It's just a bop, bop, bop. That's Drake in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
I mean, from my limited time in, yeah, it's more about just putting the pressure on.
Yeah, so right. So I think with and I wonder if really and truly, because when I think about it, the purpose of the Asgard, right? I think it might have a bigger cargo space than the Corsair, but I honestly think with the guns, if it's 6, like I really think that the Asgard is the competitor for the Drake Corsair, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. That's why they tried to nerf the Corsair at first and all this other crazy stuff. So, yeah, I think that's what it is. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and continue.
Currently, there's 4 objectives that it can generate between. So you'll go to point number 1. It will pick between one of those 4 objectives for you to complete. Once you complete it, it will send you to another point in space where it will generate another objective, and so on until you've completed 3 points.
Scans are showing outlaws inbound.
Objective 1 is a traditional kill all the ships that appear. That doesn't really require any more explanation. Objective 2 is protect a ship that's under attack from the bad guys. Objective 3.
So here's another picture of the Asgard. Again, like you see this, that the thrusters are on the wing, the side wings, instead of being in the back here. Mm-hmm. So, like I say, it's already, I think, super freaking cool. And when we get to the portion of it where it's talking about the Invictus Center, where you'll see the ships, you'll see what I mean as far as the guns are concerned. But when I saw it actually going, I saw that there were 6 guns firing at the same time, which had to have been from the pilot. So I'll go ahead and continue with it. But yeah, this is actually really kind of cool, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, I'm not one to buy extra stuff when they are the same kind of purpose in a way, but I think this is definitely worth the buy, I think, so far from what I've seen, but we'll see.
3 is a new objective called Search and Destroy, and objective 4 is what we're calling the empty objective.
So sorry, I keep pausing on this thing. So here on top is this big area. I do believe that's a huge, I think that's a turret. I know there's like a size 4 or something at the bottom, but there's another portion that's on here that's sticking out that wasn't on. It's not on the Valkyrie. So like I said, this is like basically, I think, a Valkyrie on steroids.
Which would make sense.
Seeing it
where you show up and
actually
nothing happens.
But that's the cockpit that's been
I have
showing.
to say that so people don't think it's a bug. Search and Destroy is a new objective that we've created. We wanted an objective that was less heavy on combat.
The player will go to the location and they'll receive a...
All right, we all know what this is. This is the Guardian MX. You can even tell by just looking at the pylons on it that it's definitely different, right? That you can just see it. And as you get closer to it, like I said from the picture, you'll see that it has the size 3 guns. I can see one right here at the very tip of it. So there's one here, one here, one here, and one here. So it's gonna have the 4 size 3s. I hope it's size 3s, because if it's size 2, that's gonna be kind of sad. And then I think the missiles are gonna come from the top of where those pylons are. It's gonna pop up from there, or pop out, whatever, and then that's where your missiles are gonna be hidden. In my opinion, I think that's where they are. But like I said, they could be from the inside. We'll see.
Certain number of areas to discover. It's up to the player to go there and ping and scan with their ship scanners and discover what's going to happen. The player may discover a friendly probe that's...
So did you see that? Whenever they were shooting?
Yeah.
So yeah. So like I said, that's I honestly, as I was talking to one of our other org mates, because I'm waiting on the Zeus Marquis. The Zeus Marquis has a quantum interdictor, whereas the Guardian QY has a quantum entangler. So they kind of, they do separate things, right? The entangler will basically prevent you from leaving once, like if it's near you, right? So if you're on, chasing someone and you activate the QI, they're not supposed to be able to quantum away. Whereas a quantum interdictor is if you're coming from Area 18 going towards Crusader, and if I'm like at any point in between there, and I do believe it's like you cross past 50 kilometers or kilometers, whatever, in that direction, a quantum interdictor it'll drag you out of quantum, and then you might get berated by like fire. So either way, they both affect quantum in a way, and for me, I'm like, I try not to buy ships that do a lot of the same thing. So I really think I'm going to probably, and again, it depends on the MX, how it's set up. I would think that it's still set up the same way interior, where it has a bed, a living space, and a place where I could put like a 1 SCU cargo box on the back ramp that comes down. If it still has all that, I'm more than likely going to switch the Guardian QI for the MX.
All right. So, with that, do you think pricing will be about similar, much more? And with that, do you think they might actually change the regular Guardian at all? I know the answer is probably no, because they never do. As I've told you before.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you think this is going to be a bit more than the QI, or maybe about on par?
I think.
Any guesses?
Well, so again, with the guns it has, like I said, hopefully they're size 3s. So with 4 size 3s, that's already a little bit different. I'm not sure about the DPS comparatively to 2 dedicated size 5s. So there's that little thing that you have to think about. And of course, there's a lot more size 3 gun options than there are size 5 options. So it just depends on, I think, what you go with. But I think, the point of it is that, you have a ship that has a barrage of missiles, a barrage.
Yeah.
But when it actually gets done, like just unloading all those missiles, if it's being close combat, with enemies, it can still fight a little, you know what I'm saying? Or even offer some support. I don't think they're going to change. It would kind of take away from the regular Guardians to change them in any way. The only thing, so it brings me to a thing I was talking about with you before. When they made the Guardian and then the Guardian QI, the thing that irritated me about that is that nobody would buy the Guardian because it offers nothing that, the Guardian QI doesn't have. That doesn't make sense. Right.
And that's what my question was more for, as far as I was talking price. As we know, there was a $10 difference with between the Guardian and the QI, which was like, why? Why would, like you said, why would somebody buy that? So I was saying, do you think that the MX will be about on par financially?
I think it'll be it'll be around the same, but I think it'll be maybe I could see because it's a missile boat. I
Or
would
more.
say it's $20 more. I would think, give or take.
And as I was saying, probably they won't change the Guardian price at all.
No, they're not going to change the prices. That's not going to happen. But you know what? As far as the Guardians are concerned, I would have liked to see the Guardian, the regular Guardian, instead of having 2 size 5, giving it 2 size 6s, which will offset it from the fact that the QI has 2 size 5s, and then now the MX has 4 size 3s. That would make sense. That would make sense in the whole transition to where each of them are different. If you want sheer like gun power, 2 size 6s on the regular Fury, there you go, right? If you want the quantum entangler so that you can try to chase down people so they can't get away, great. You got a QI, a quantum entangler, and you have now 2 size 5s on the QI version. And then of course, if you're going for just sheer like destructive power, you don't have as much gunfire power because you got 4 size 3s, but you have a barrage of missiles. So it makes each one very appealing, to be used. But with the QI and the regular one, I think giving them both size 5s was a mistake. That was a really bad idea in my personal opinion.
Well, I'm just saying, and if you have variations of things, you want pros and cons to each, and that, as we've discussed, there is no real pro to the regular Guardian.
Exactly.
As opposed
it was such a stupid thing for them to make it that way. I mean, CIG, I love you guys. I think you guys are awesome. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see the game come to its fullest form, and then beyond that. I think, you guys have made something amazing. However, the QI and the regular Guardian are a pure example of where you've kind of missed the mark when it comes to creating a reason for someone to pick one over the other. Because if one has one thing and then the other one has the exact same thing plus something else, why wouldn't anyone buy that? So yes, people are going to pay $10 more to buy that one thing, but I think it kind of takes away from the purpose of spending time building a regular one. That's just my opinion.
So in a similar vein, then, what do you think, like the difference we may be looking at for the TAC versus the MAX?
Oh my gosh, big difference. The MAX is purely transport. Purely transport. Sure, it has 2 turrets on the top, and you have the 4 dedicated size 4s on either side for the pilot, right? But aside from that, it's nothing but cargo space. That is a strictly pure cargo hauling ship. Perfect.
Yeah, the MAX.
The MAX. The TAC is
purely basically.
It's purely combat based. Why? Sure, it still has the 2 turrets on the top and the 4 dedicated guns for the pilot on either side and in the front. But now there is no side cargo space where the ramps come down. Totally different. It has now 2 turrets on either side. There are dual size 5s. That's already crazy. That's awesome. Okay. Then, if it didn't even make it any better, they also have the jump seat. So if you do carry a platoon of people that are going to hit the ground running,
I forgot about that.
They have the doors that open up behind the 2 size 5s on either side. 4 seats, 4 seats. Then the doors will open up and they can get out. And like I said, the 2 size 5s can still be giving them cover, so they're not getting in the way of the fire. So that's a good place for them to come out at. And then the other thing is, as it has a medical bay,
and I forgot that too. So
pure
along
combat.
with the Fury hangar, Jesus,
right? Yeah. And then of course, as you said, the Fury hangar. It has the Fury hangar on top. This thing is purely combat. Sure, you can take stuff with you, but you could do 96 SEU in the back. Sure, you can do that for both of them. But like I said, the MAX has, along the lower bottom of the ship is purely cargo, whereas the TAC is made for purely combat, And that's, again, you look at those two, completely different ships. Completely different. Even where they're in the MAX, there's a kitchen and there's pool tables and stuff. In the TAC, no. all because they had to make that space for the Fury hangar. They moved everything to the front, so now you have a bunk basically for your crew up front near the cockpit, and where there used to would be a kitchen and stuff. It's like a little small living area. It's not the same, so it's a purely different ship, 100%. So,
oh no, yeah, I get that. So again, as I was saying,
go ahead.
Right. No, as the question then, as we were going over the differences between the Guardians and of course CIG's screw up of making a $10 difference, so it's unappealing. What kind of difference price wise do you think we may be looking at? Like a whole lot over the max, or maybe again because they are so different for different things, just a little bit, but where it's comparable, where like you said, it's good options for each one.
I really wouldn't imagine it being too much more, to be honest. In my opinion, that's just me. I wouldn't imagine it being too much more than the So, for instance, the Ironclad, the one I'm waiting for, the Ironclad and the Ironclad Assault. The Ironclad was like $450, and the Ironclad Assault was about $80 more, which made sense because of what the difference in what they're doing is. For me, I bought the regular Ironclad, and I'm actually kicking myself in the butt. So whenever the Ironclad Assault comes out, I'm definitely going to upgrade to that because of everything it entails, and it's worth the $80. It's probably going to be a little bit more now since I'm buying it later, but that's okay. It's fine, I'll just upgrade the Ironclad to the Assault. But the $80 is it makes sense because of the amount of difference, right? You get like two more, or you get like an extra size 5 quad something and a bunch of quad size 4s or 3s or something. It's got a whole bunch of stuff. It's got a component fabricator. You can repair not only land vehicles but ships as well that'll fit on the little inside area. So it's got a lot to offer, so it's worth the $80. The regular Guardian versus the QI, I mean, $10, but again, to make it make sense, if the regular Guardian came with two size 6 guns, and the QI came with 2 size 5s and the Quantum Entangler, it still makes, you would still have a choice. Well, I don't want the Quantum Entangler, I'd rather have the big guns. Whereas now in the MX, which I would see the MX being maybe $10-$20 more than the QI was, be like, well, I don't want size 5s and a Quantum Entangler. I want 4 size 3s and missiles. It makes sense. Even if it's a little more, it still makes sense, but you have a choice. And it's not that crazy, but it gives you a very visible choice to do about your gameplay. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, exactly.
So, like, the regular QI can be great in dogfighting because it's got 2 size 6s. Like, you get hit with a couple of those, and it's gonna suck. The Quantum Interdictor or Quantum Entangler on the QI, you'll be chasing them down, trying to keep them from jumping away if they don't kill you first. But you have size 5, so you still have a fight in the ring. And then of course the MX, like, I'm not trying to get anywhere near you. I'm gonna just blast you with a shitload of missiles. 4, and then 4 more, and then 4 more, and then 4 more. Before I even get near you, I'm just gonna be blasting the shit out of you with missiles. So, and if you happen to get up on me, hopefully by then at least one set of that has hit you, and then I can hopefully tear you down with the size 3s that I have. So, it depends on your gameplay, and I like that about the variants. If you have very different variants that appeal to different gameplays, then sure, But when there are two things that look exactly the same, and except when one has one extra component that makes it a better choice, what was the point of building that other one? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I think that for the Guardian, I think it'll be within a $20 range, I would think. And for the Star Lancer TAC, they offered it before last year at I think it was IAE or at CitizenCon, and I forgot how much it was. Yeah, I forgot how much it
Yeah.
was. We can ask Heteron; he would know. But yeah, so I don't think it was too different. I think it was about the same because I think with the pack, it was if you bought them both, it was like 400 something. So it was under 500, I believe. So, but I would have to ask Heteron.
Mm.
So now I'm jumping to where we're seeing Invictus, the showroom, so we can get a better look at some of the new things that are coming.
As you're in the shuttle and approaching the Better Convention Center, you get met with the new slogan of this year's Invictus. As you walk out of the shuttle, we walk into the lobby and we take the elevator down. We get met with the beautiful hologram of the mighty Idris itself. As we're walking further into the halls, you'll be able to find all the new ships for this year's Invictus. We can see that this...
Okay, so here we get a good view of the Asgard. It says right there, Asgard, blah, blah, blah. So you see that big-ass dual set of guns at the bottom? You see that? And then you also have guns right here. And you have guns up here.
Up there, yep.
You know, and that's just what we can see. I don't know if there's something any more from anywhere else. But the short end of it is that...
think on the top there might have been a turret, so...
Yeah, so that alone, if you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that alone is basically on par with the Corsair. And again, everybody, whenever they nerf a vehicle, typically it's because they have another vehicle that is similar coming out, and that's where I think that the Asgard is going to be the similar ship that they were originally nerfing the Corsair for and then have to redo it. Makes sense because I think really if the community didn't complain as much about the fact that they removed the functionality of the front facing guns for the pilot that they did and try to give it to the co-pilot and some other crazy stuff. You know, as I've made an argument before, when you remove functionality of how it was sold away, I don't care if you make the gun smaller, you know, whatever, that's fine. But if it came working with, you know, 6 pilot guns, then let it have 6 pilot guns. You know, change the sizes instead. You know, when I first got the Corsair, it had 4 size 4 in the front of the nose, and then the back and the 2 were size 3s. So, but it was, you know, it was still 6 guns. I would have rather them went. Luckily, they didn't. Luckily, they made it to where it makes sense. They put 2 size 5s in the back and then 4 size 4. So I was very pleased with that, 100%. But when they took the bottom 2 guns in the front and gave it to the co-pilot, so where now the co-pilot, if he's sitting down there, he can move the 2 guns, which only had a limited arc anyways, which is literally like this. Like, it was not a turret. That to do that was the worst thing ever. So I'm glad they fixed that for the Corsair. But I do believe the reasoning was because we were making the Asgard, and the Asgard actually seems to be what was the competitor for it to start with.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, hey, and I'm looking on the ship page. So the max is $250, and the TAC is going to be $330. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah,
I mean, it does. So I can see something like that.
Yeah, it makes absolute sense. So that's absolutely cool. I think it's worth the money. It's the $80 again. It's worth the money. You know, for what the TAC offers.
What?
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was saying what the TAC offers. It's worth the $80 for that. You know, because again, some people may just want to haul cargo. They don't want nothing to do with combat. You know, and this is where I'm really hoping that Nyx comes in at the end of the year. It's going to be a hauler's dream because, you know, I think coming from Stanton, you have to go through Pyro to get to Nyx. And it's going to create a little, I think a little bit more, it's going to make the game a lot more worth playing because you have to, you know, get through Pyro to get to Nyx. And both places are lawless, so you have to still get to wherever you need to get to take stuff to Nyx. So I think that's where you're going to see a lot of that hauling gameplay be even more gratifying, you know, the fact that you made it that far and got paid to do that. So yeah, like I said, the max makes sense to be what it is. If you want something more military, anything that's going to be more of a military, more something, that's got a lot more to it, med bed, more guns. I mean, you need to pay more for it.
Additional options for that thing.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we're not going to talk about it right now, but the Starlancer build, when it comes out for building, outposts and stuff like that.
That thing's going to probably be insane.
Right, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be totally different. It's going to probably be somewhere in between, I would think. Unless base building really can pay off for some reason. I don't know. It's not here yet, so I couldn't tell you. But like I said, I'm sure it's going to be a completely different ship comparatively for what it's for.
Okay, true. All right, and one more thing before we continue. So, as their anvil, at comparable things as we said. So the Valkyrie is 375, and since it's a drop ship as well, or in the vein, as you said, this is a heavy transport. Like the Paladin is 300 in concept. So where do we think this our ready to fly Asgard's gonna be?
I'm gonna be honest. I really would hope that it's nowhere. I hope it's like maybe 390. Something like that, if it's, or maybe not even. I mean, really, I would think 370 for what's there. It's not 70. Because you said the original Valkyrie was 370, so I would definitely say it needs to be like 385, 390. Like it should be somewhere within a $10 range because it's a variant, but it's not a very. I mean, it's different, but as long as it's not 400. If it's 400, I mean, it better come with some other stuff. Again, we don't know what's in it. I mean, it might come with a med bed, so it might be like 400 and some change. I'd be like, done. And if it had a med bed in it, I am not gonna. No, really. If it had a med bed in it, bro, and it had regular where you could sleep, go to sleep and everything in it, bed log. I don't know. I love my Corsair. My Corsair's name is the Emerald Duchess. I love that ship, but I don't know, man. If it came with a med bed, that's when it starts getting to be a little bit,
utilitarian. Because then you can take it for
exactly. So, maybe
my Metapin. I love it. Take it, so I don't have to worry about if I die. I try to get back.
Right. I mean, but I was gonna say, if you're gonna buy the Starlancer Attack, I don't even know why you have that Metapin. I mean, I get it for. Quick ins and out. You know what? No, I take that back because the Metapin, the fact that it actually has a med bed in it, but it's armored it's armored. It's crazy armored.
Well, and also it would be. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So I mean, it's a unique ship. The fact that you can go into a very hot area, get out, go grab somebody, bring them back in your ship, and take off and probably still be alive. Whereas maybe the TAC I know the TAC is a little bit more armored from what I heard, but I mean, it may not be able to do the same thing. So I don't know. But
plus, cool. I guess you have to consider. I mean, when we see what the specs are and everything, what level bed is it? Because, for instance, my Metapin, remember, is a 2.
Nice.
But if almost everything else is almost a 3.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
If it's a 3, obviously, then you might want to keep the 2. But I get what you're saying. If it were, but again, as our org mates has said, if everybody else is getting it, I might be like, I'll stick with what I got.
Get what makes you happy, man. Don't listen to me. I just, for the viewers to know out there, our org is small, but there's about 5 of us, and out of the 5, I'm not getting the TAC. I don't want it. But the other, I know Headwan already bought it. And our Ocean, he's wanting to buy it. Lisa's wanting to buy it, and you're wanting to buy it. I was like, dude, 4 people with the TAC. I'm like, dang. No, I mean, it's fine.
That's exactly,
I was just like, man, are you there?
Oh yeah, no, I'm here. No, I was just again, I was sorry to nothing, but same as you. It's just like, I mean, hey, if 3 other people are getting it, I'm just like,
yeah.
I mean, I may wait and see if there's something else that suits my fancy more. Because again, I do a little hauling, and of course, once they get the freaking beacons working right, I'll probably do more med stuff. But that being said, even though that is kind of a utilitarian thing, it looks like, I don't know. Like I said, if the rest of our clan, our org happens to have it. So that being said, but, I'd have to look overall. But anyways,
and I do believe that they said, so at the end of this video, you're going to hear Jarrett say something about 4 vehicles. Because, I mean, they've already talked about, I mean, we haven't looked in depth into 3 of these, but they've already talked about 4. We've seen the Asgard, we've seen the TAC, we've seen the Guardian MX, and in a minute we're gonna see the Grey Cat MTC. So, but then they said talk about 4 ships. I'm like, so how much? Because they already did a whole thing on the TAC, so I'm thinking there's 4 more ships. Which my hope is that now that we're gonna have 4 more, be more specific, 4 more vehicles. So that would make a total of 8 new vehicles for people to buy for Invictus, which I think would trump the Invictus from last year, because Invictus last year they didn't really have a lot come out, and I was very disappointed. So this year they have already, with the 4 they already have, they're already doing well, and my hope is Ironclad is going to be one of them, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and keep going.
All right.
This year's Invictus looks a little bit different than what we're used to. This year Invictus.
That's cool. That armor is, I mean, it's not my style, but I like the fact that they're doing paint schemes. So design. I'm actually excited to see what kind of armors they actually will have going on during Invictus. I love armors. I buy a few of them because I just love them. And a side note, the tier 0 where you keep your armor makes it so much better. So I can actually wear the different armors. And ever since they've done that, everybody wears all types of cool armor. It's not just a plain Jane, because now people aren't worried. Now, mind you, again, I know it's an alpha, but on 2 different occasions, my armors got taken. One was when I died, I came back and my armor wasn't on me at all. I just had a flight suit. And then number 2, I had my armor in a box on a ship, and the ship I was in Lorville, and it wasn't that big central portion where the big building is in Lorville. It was actually a ship it was a part of Lorville that was far out from the main city, but you could see like a pipeline going all the way out to this one area that looked like a shipping dock area. And I was in third person. I didn't see that it was restricted, and then it relocated me back to Lorville, but it did not impound my ship. It left the ship out there, and I couldn't get to it. So I lost the second set of armor that way. I was really upset. But it's an alpha. I understand. I just wish it was better ways to get stuff back. But like I said, it's just the beginning. Tier 0 is still awesome. I'm glad they came out with it. So, I'm looking forward to see how the next tier 1 and so forth as they come. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of new armors they're gonna have.
This will not feature different daily layouts, but instead has a better, well-crafted layout for the entire duration of Invictus. We can see that there's extra care being taken in the presentation of the ships. This really shows.
So I'm going to go right back. So one of the things that
ships
that they brought up on one of the Inside Star Citizens, that they were making a Mantis, like a heavy fighter variant of the Mantis, right? So this back here, this back portion of the ship sticking out to the top left, this thing is the Mantis, right? However, I wonder if one of the 4 ships they were talking about is that Combat Mantis.
Is variant. Yeah,
because it's so funny how I love, CIG, how when they're trying to tease stuff, they really do good job of teasing. You're like, what's that? Or you act like they didn't show something, but they show like a little sliver. But it's funny how it just dropped out right before here, before you actually see what it is. Yeah. But I think that this might be the Combat Mantis.
No, not that. That's the regular Mantis, because that is in PTU right now, like along with my Metapen and stuff. That's
right, but
on
that might change.
Unless they swap it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think unless they swap it out,
right?
Punking people. So.
Yeah, because once if it got 4, because it's just a play. It could be a placeholder. So I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I know it's there, but I know that was one of the ones that Ocean was really wanting to get at. He wanted the combat mantis, which honestly, I like the way the mantis looks. I mean, yet again, I don't have the bread to be spreading like this, but I might figure out a way if it's a combat mantis that thing's pretty sweet looking. So I mean, they haven't shown it, but I like the mantis.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, and then plus also like for IAE, you know, if you like look at the map on the site, you know, there each day is going to be different things. So whereas we have, you know, this is in one of the side rooms, but you know they're different. You know, of course, Metapins, Anvil. I forget the mantis. What RSI? Or
no, the mantis is. Oh yeah, I think it's RSI. But I think
but so
that
the point is, whereas they're mixed in here now for those days, they're probably just going to switch in the per day. You know what the manufacturer is for. Their
I don't
ships,
think they're going to do that. I think they said that this year they're going to put the hull as what all the new ships or the newer things, which would kind of be indicative of what you're saying in a way. But they're not going to change the hull like they did the previous years, where they did every year they did a new one, a new setup every year. I think that they're going to switch it out on the. You're gonna see in the video where they have the terminals where you can rent ships from the different days. But I don't know if they're gonna do it. I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't know if they're gonna do. I think majority of it's gonna be the same. If they do change it out, it will be just like the one or two ships in those areas. But I think it's gonna be pretty much the same. But we'll see.
Okay, so you think it's gonna be static in just the terminals that are different? Basically.
Yeah, that's what I understand. Right, and you'll hear it in the video, so you can let me know what you think.
Okay.
This really shows the might of the UE. At the entrance of the halls,
so here you see the Guardian MX, the Starlancer TAC, and then over here on the left is the Grey Cat MTC.
You can see the rental kiosks.
So, stop for 1 second.
Yep.
That does say one more thing then, because if you're noticing from the shot before, that means the Asgard is behind the MX. And then on the other side, there could be something in that little alcove too.
True. Oh, yeah. Sure. Very true. Very true.
At the entrance of the halls, we can see the rental kiosks. This is where you'll this year be able to rent the various ships. Make sure to return to these kiosks as they are on a daily/bi-daily rotation. Invictus this year is not just about ships, but it's about the way that you customize your ships, how you create your own experience with your vehicle.
So, as they were saying, how you customize your ships. So, here in Invictus, from what I understand, when people were in the PTU, there are military components in here which you can't buy anymore. So I wonder if you can get these components from Invictus and it stays in your inventory once you have them attached to your ship, or if like the ships, they will eventually not be able to be used. I'm curious about that, or maybe they'll disappear when they patch and turn off the Invictus area. What do you think?
Well, I mean, again, remember, whenever an event's over, the hall is blocked off, so there's that.
Right, but like the ships, you know, you are on a timer, so every time you rent one, you eventually it will time out to where you can't use it anymore.
Well, see, okay, so that's, I guess, a question then, because I don't know if you've done this or not, but in my limited time, again, in the last Invictus and IAE and stuff, I've never, you know, tried getting any of those, buying any of the components or renting any of them. Have you ever done that?
No.
Because that's what I'm saying. I mean, they might not even be for rent. It might be buy only. You know what I'm saying?
And even if
I can't see people wanting to rent components.
That makes sense. I don't know what I was just saying. Like, slash that. You're right. You should be able to buy them, and then it should be fine.
Everything being rented.
Yeah. So if you're buying it, yeah, that makes sense, and you should be able to keep it. So yeah, they have military components. If you see some, buy some, because you know you can't buy them, so you might as well just buy them while you can. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Limited time offer.
Exactly.
That you customize your ships, how you create your own experience.
And these are the blades that they were talking about. Now, I don't know really. I know the first iteration, and there's supposed to be, you know, flight blades. So what do you think?
With your
What do you think that you know, because they're different ones. So what do you think that really entails? Like, is the flight blade gonna be more for, let's say it'll give your ship a little bit more agility? Maybe it'll max out, you know, your shields for defense for combat. Maybe it'll give you a little bit more power for your guns, you know, to do the offensive. Like, what do you think the flight blades really are gonna do?
Well, see, okay, that's as far as now you're saying flight blades as in an overall name for them, or specifically the flight systems? Because my understanding, this is what I was asking y'all before, is that they're going to be different type of blades, right? So when you're saying flight blades, are you including weapons and all that, or just the specific flight
So
systems?
I think that at first it's going to be for the system itself, because it says tailoring. You know, it says right there above it says discover a new way to fly, a new way to fight. So these have to assist in some fashion the way the ship handles.
So I would think that, like, be it again, obviously, for as much as they've touted, you know, wanting to do multi-crew and everything, I'm sure they realize by now only so many people do that.
Yeah, but
so
I don't think I think they said it's not for the turrets. This is specifically for how your ship handles in different situations. That's what I'm saying. So they might have a more combat-based one that might be a combat defense, a combat offense. And so it'll help, maybe like with the defense, it may give you more rigidity with your shields. It may make them, I don't know, recharge faster, or the offense one may be where it helps improve gunfire. Maybe it may increase the fire rate on your guns or something like that, or make targeting a lot easier. I'm honestly, I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking, because say it's it's supposed to be for flight. So what can it do for your flight? You know, see what I'm saying? Like, it has to be something that applies to the ship and its stats on how it performs. Essentially, is what I think it is. So it's going to have some bearing on the performance of the ship in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, that's why I was kind of confused on the little bit that we do know of them. And that's why I was like, I mean, are these more like AI enhancement assistant type things, or what? But like you said, are just more as far as your actual ship systems? I have no idea, honestly. So
yeah,
hopefully they'll give us a little more detail, you know, in the upcoming week. Then
right.
I'm sure a lot of people are curious just seeing those things there. So
right,
vehicles, and how you truly make your vehicles your own.
All right, there it is, MTC. So this is what I was saying. I don't think this thing is big at all. Oh
yeah, it doesn't look very big.
Comparing it looking at this, like, look, I already could tell you only one person is going to fit in front of this window, right? This is not a two-seater. These wheels look hella small. It does have a turret on the top, which is cool, but it's nothing like, you know, and people were saying that they think this back area is for a door to come down, but this is the way this thing looks. I cannot even see that being possible. I think it's one way in, which is right here on the left side of it. You can see with the back facing, as we look at the left side, that's a door right there. So I think there's that. I would even bet there's probably some sort of computer or something inside for something, you know, because it's supposed to be something for the front lines. You know, that's the whole purpose of it. I'm not sure exactly what that would be, whether it would be offering radar or some sort of intel for, you know, aerial strikes or whatever. But that's what, you know, initially it said it's some sort of frontline vehicle. But when we go back to when we first got in the hall, comparatively to the MX, like I said, this thing isn't that big. I don't think it's that big, in my opinion. I think it's.
I don't think it is.
I think it's literally, as I was saying before, I think it's in between.
Maybe just a little bit bigger than the STV.
Right, I think it's a little bigger than the STV,
but I think it's a little bit smaller
than a little bit smaller than the Ursa.
with your vehicles.
I mean, the rovers.
And how you truly make your vehicles
So
run.
that's what I think. Yeah, I think it's a little bit smaller than the Ursa, but I think it's obviously it's bigger than the STV. So, but I'm actually excited for this. I am gonna trade out my STV because the STV doesn't even have a gun on it. It's a fun little buggy. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but it really just doesn't serve a really good purpose for what my gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, even like when I bought mine, it was just sort of the fact that it's something that could fit in my C1.
Exactly.
In case we need to go extra vehicular. I mean, obviously, if I had room for an Ursa, I'd have an Ursa or an Ursa in it.
And I think
since obviously it's not big enough, so
right. And I think this is going to be that in between. Yeah, I think this is going to be that in between. I think this will be able to fit into your C1, in my opinion, from the way it looks. Because I know an Ursa is just a smidgen too big and wide. Like it just clips those little corners of the C1 when you go into it. So I think that this is going to fit, in my opinion. So we'll have to wait and see. But I like it. I'm going to trade my STV for it.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, I bought mine in game, so I couldn't trade it. So I might, end up getting it if it's, does fit and everything. So
yeah, and I'm pretty sure once it's in game to buy in game, it's not going to be that. But I mean, I personally like having a dedicated land vehicle that I don't have, I don't have to grind for. That's why I don't mind. These things are probably like $50, $60, something like that. They're not super expensive. I mean, usually they're like between the 30s and the 50s. So I definitely would buy this.
Exactly.
So let's check out the Edwards tour at Area 18 Central. As you walk and you look up, you can already see that the Idris is hanging straight above.
Really cool.
We'll go towards the IO North Tower and take the elevators up. As we continue over the platform, we get met with the Idris itself.
That's a cool
Please
spot.
take some time to explore.
It is.
I'm super excited about Invictus this year. I think we've done something a little bit unexpected. I think the way that everything came together really clicked this year. I hope that the players will also see the care and love that we put into making this year's Invictus special.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's definitely a lot more special than it's been in a while, personally. So let's skip past this.
Overall,
there
411
it is.
is
So, like, so
a
you were looking at
big
that, like, so the
suite
MX just looks
of
different.
ship.
I like how that looks a little bit different, even from the back. So, and
But yeah, obviously we have cannon fire or
New
laser fire.
Say what?
No, I said, but obviously, as you see in that picture, we have cannon or laser fire. So
right.
So
breathe new life into existing vehicles,
guns,
like
we said, and that was actually 4. So wow.
Yeah, like this. You're talking about for the MX.
Yeah.
That sometimes we're FPS citizen.
Yeah, see, I like the way it looks. I feel like
we
it
hope
looks a
this
little bit different.
goes some way to help
I'm
address it.
excited about it.
How do you feel having this patch sit on your shoulders?
I think it's a lot of pressure, but it's also very, very motivating. There's a lot of work to do, but we know we can do it. Just got to get it done.
I love the Infernos, but I hate how they did the Ion.
Simultaneously. There's also those new flight blades y'all have been talking about online, and even some weapon and item packs that'll let you breathe new life into existing vehicles like never before. You can learn all about that stuff on the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website as the event starts proper on May 15th. And then it continues to cycle through all of our manufacturers every 2 days until the end of the event. That part stays the same. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you. And we'll start learning about the last 4 vehicles making their debut at this year's event next week. And then the week after.
Next week, we're going to get more info then.
Sweet, but he said it. It sounds like there's 4 more.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what he said.
Thanks for letting.
So
yeah, hold on a second.
To share the people and process of game development with you, and we'll start learning about the last 4 vehicles making
the last 4 vehicles, which means there should be 4 more vehicles. So that's why I'm saying I think it's a total of 8 vehicles this year, and I'm hoping one of them is the ironclad. Even if it's just to the regular version, I'll take that. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll take that until
I got you.
Assault comes out.
Mm.
So yeah, that's
yeah.
pretty
Just
cool.
thinking that there are 4 more vehicles is interesting. Like I said, that we have no idea. Like you said, yes, there's the speculation on the Manus fighter, but other than that, we really have no idea. Maybe it will be one of the ships, as we were talking earlier, that has been delayed for how many years?
Right. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. We'll see what happens. But that's all I have for now. So I will say thank you guys if you hung in with me this long. This is my first actual video I'm making of doing reviews and stuff like that and show myself. And luckily my brother was here to help basically co-host it with me. So thank you again, Ricky, for being here. I appreciate that.
You're
welcome. Like I said, hopefully we'll make more of these real soon. So take care, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.